To make your Art Spiderweb design, you're going to start with a pencil and draw a dot anywhere on the paper. I'm going to start right there. Just a tiny little dot. Make sure you have a shape in mind because you're going to draw that shape around the dot. Make sure there's space around the dot. And then you want to draw the shape again and again and again. Even if it's too big for the paper, you want to go right to the edge of the paper where it would go off of it naturally. Just keep repeating that shape over and over, leaving about 2 fingers worth of space between each shape. The next step is to line up your ruler so that it touches the dot that you drew first, and then draw lines all the way across your paper, making sure that your line always crosses the dot that you drew originally. Make sure you go all the way across the paper, all the way across the lines you made for whatever shape you drew. The ruler might not reach some of those diagonals, so just slide the ruler down and make it work. I'm going to do about 6 total lines across, so this is my 6th one. You might have a different number, but the more lines you make, the more difficult it'll be to color. So try to keep it simple. Alright, so I was just checking to see if I did it correctly, and I think I'm good. So now you get to color, pick one color, and color every other space on the design. It's like a grid, only the grid is kind of spider web shaped. So color every other one of those little pizza shapes. Start at the point or the center of your art, the center of interest, and color every other shape. That means leave a white shape in between every color. When you get to the second row, make sure that you start on a shape that's touching the corners of the previous row. So it's every other shape. Shapes should be touching the corners, the ones that you color at least. So go around and around and around and all over the paper, coloring every other shape one color. For this first round, you want to use just one color. The shapes obviously get bigger and bigger as they get closer to the end of the paper, and that's okay. Just do your best, neatest coloring. And it'll look like that. Next, we're going to decide what to do with the leftover white spaces. Here's some ideas that you can choose depending on how creative you want to be and how much work you want to do. You could just simply choose another solid color and color every white space a solid color. Or you could get a little more creative and do like a line or a pattern or a design in each of the white spaces. And that's what I'm going to do with this one, so you can see that it's actually pretty easy and it's fun, and I think it creates a really neat effect. Either way, you have to do something with the white space. So I'm going to use a contrasting color like orange. Orange is opposite of blue, and I'm going to draw these kind of wavy lines that look like they're just woven through the design, but really I'm just drawing in the white space, stopping, and then continuing in the next white space. It's kind of fun. Okay, watch how I take the design even further by coloring 1/2 of each white space this bright orange color all over the paper. This time I'm starting with the bigger spaces. Oh, hey! Thanks, Mrs. Kunzman. She just dropped off some earrings for me. That's cool. Okay, it's still just not quite where I want it to be yet. I think there's something else I could do to make this design even more appealing. So I'm going to grab my black marker and I'm going to introduce a dot pattern, kind of a dotted line really, that fills in the space in the remaining part, the remaining white area of my artwork. And we'll see how that looks. And that's about it, folks. I'm really excited to see what you do with this project and how you get creative and make it your own by choosing your own colors, choosing your own shape, and choosing how you want to fill in the spaces. Have fun!